Hello again from my front porch. Today I want to talk to you about something that, well, it's a little bit of an annoyance for me. It's an annoyance that shows up a lot in politics, it seems, which makes it even doubly annoying. but it permeates our society in ways that I don't think are helpful or healthy at all, and then in fact is one of the reasons that we are so divided and we're so divisive, that we're always taking sides, and that is the impression of of false choices that we have to make. This impression that when you're faced with a certain situation, your choice is either this or that, and if you don't say you support this, then that must mean you support that, or vice versa. It's a false dichotomy that is inflicted on us. It's a manner of push polling. Now, push polling is something, just as a little quick aside, pollsters they call and they do their polling, but sometimes they're not just asking your opinion. Sometimes the nature of the questions are such that they try to lead you to saying what they want you to say, or even if they're honestly getting information, the whole point of the poll is not really to document your opinion. It's actually a method of getting you to stay on the phone and listen while they tell you this stuff supposedly as questions. Because if you just got the automated call that said, "Hello, I'm so-and-so, and I'd like to talk to you," and we all go click, no. But if someone says, "Hello, I'm with a polling organization, we'd like to get your opinion on," say, "Oh, okay, I'll listen." Yeah. And then they start filling your head with all kinds of ideas that you weren't aware of before in the form of a question. And that's the intent is to sway your opinion. So it's called push polling. It's attempting to push you in a certain direction. Well, the false dichotomies, the false choices, those things are do the same thing. And it's a manner of crowd manipulation, of managing the masses and being able to herd the cattle, if you will, seeing where the lemmings will line up and go correctly. Now, a big one that is in our country right now, and this is going to get a little political, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just such a glaring example of this. And it causes me a great deal of frustration. And since it's frustrating to me, you get to hear about it now. And that is, there's currently this notion in our society that if you either support the impeachment and removal from office of President Donald Trump, or you're an apologist for him, you're a supporter, you endorse everything he does, all that he says, you've drank the Kool-Aid, blah, 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 all this kind of, that there's no middle ground in between. You're either this camp or this camp. Now, there are some who are definitely this camp and some who are definitely that camp. But you know what? There are a whole lot of us who are not in either camp. Myself, I'll just be honest. I did not vote for Donald Trump, and I do not see myself voting for him again, assuming he's still on the ballot. And I have no reason to believe he won't be, because we're going through this impeachment thing right now in the House, and it's probably gonna pass the House, and it'll pass on a straight party line vote. Democrats control the House, so Democrats will get their impeachment of Donald Trump. But then it goes to the Senate, where you have to have a 2/3 majority to punish, to apply any level of punishment, and the odds of that happening in the Republican-controlled Senate are slim to none. And so the reality is, all of this is just going to be a show to get the impeachment. All that is charges. There's no teeth to being impeached. It's the punishment phase. It was where the teeth come in, and that's handled by the Senate. And the odds are it's just going to die there. This is all an act in political futility. But with what I just expressed to you, this is where my head is at. See, I'm not a Trump supporter. And I think he's done some things that are okay, but then he starts tweeting and he starts talking, and I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? But that doesn't mean I'm over here. That doesn't mean that I'm on the Trump bandwagon. However, I am a student of history and of politics, and I take the Constitution very seriously, and I am deeply troubled at what is happening with impeachment over here, because. And I know this is where it's going to get really, really troublesome for some people. what Donald Trump is being impeached for is, in my opinion, very, very weak. The standard, the bar is set very dangerously low, to the point that literally any president we've ever had could have been impeached for what is in those articles of impeachment. Now you say, oh, but the circumstance here all day, well, we could discuss and debate that. The point being, the articles themselves are very vague, very weak, very broad, and that troubles me, especially when you have many of the Democrats who have been promoting the impeachment process, even guiding the impeachment process, very openly cavalier in their comments to media about how they are concerned that if Trump is not impeached, he might be reelected in 2020, which makes it sound a lot like the concern here is not we need to punish the president for crimes he's committed and thus impeach him, but it's we need to impeach him to keep him from being able to be reelected, which is a political motive. I don't believe impeachment should be used for that. So I'm of this mindset that steps back and says, no. This whole scenario right now is out of line. Trump has done bad things. Trump has done stupid things. Trump has done things I wish he had not done, and it may be some of those things are illegal. I'm not debating that at this point. What I'm saying is, yes, he is not an angel. He is not a poster boy of virtue. Not in the least. But neither are his critics, who are, in my opinion, abusing impeachment to go after him in a political way. So you see, I'm not liking this scenario. I am not in favor of impeaching him, but I'm also not a fan of him, because I'm able to step back and disconnect from that. So this right now is the biggest dichotomy we have in our nation. You either are for impeachment or you're for Trump. And see, I reject that. That is a false choice. That is not a choice. You can say, I don't approve of Trump. You can even say, I want to see Trump held accountable for what he's done, while also expressing your concern about how the impeachment process is being handled right now and what it means, what the dangerous precedent it is that we would see going forward because of the short-sighted current. We need to impact the election in a year and a half from now. Those actions are going to be actions that are going to haunt future administrations and Congresses for generations to come. And it's terrifying to me that happens. So but I mean, they're not, politics is where these come up a lot because they try to force us into choices. And in fact, just the simple matter of, well, you have to vote, you must vote Republican or Democrat. Baloney. There's a whole lot of other choices out there. And for that matter, you don't have to vote for either one. You can go into, it used to be they had levers. Now you have little boxes, little things you circle in or however. But it used to be you go in and you could pull the Republican lever or the Democrat lever and you would vote for everybody on the ticket that was Republican or everybody on the ticket who was Democrat. Well, and you can still do that in little bubbles. You can color in stuff. But don't do that. Vote by the office, vote by the candidate, vote by the person. This whole straight party ticket thing is nonsense because that's how the puppet masters at the top of those parties, that's how they manipulate the masses, because they pit Republican versus Democrat. Boom, 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 you're evil, we're noble, boom, boom, boom. And they tell you can only choose between those two because any other choice is a waste of your vote. But it's not even just in politics. I mean, we see this in consumerism all the time. The cola wars. Now, we haven't heard that term for a while. I'm dating myself a bit. But the cola wars. Coke versus Pepsi. Boom, 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 duking it out. Why was it Coke versus Pepsi? Well, because they're the big ones. Because they're the most important ones. They're the ones in the biggest battle. So they say. But you go to the grocery store, go to a convenience store, there are a whole lot of other sodas there, even other colas that you can choose from. So why is the cola war just between Coke and Pepsi? Because they want you to be convinced that when it comes time to choose a cola, you've only got two choices, Coke or Pepsi. happens in marketing all the time. And sometimes not even this product or this product. Sometimes it's just this product or the consequences. Here's the consequences unless you buy this product. But think of how many times you see commercials on TV where it's here's our thing versus an unnamed brand, and we compare the two together, or whatever. Or more likely it's here's ours, and we compare it against another popular brand, and we do taste testing, or we do sampling, or we do whatever, and we ask people. My favorite was always that one that I don't remember the air freshener. It wasn't a very good commercial because I remember the commercial, but I don't remember the product. But the air freshener, where they would put people like in a room full of junk and garbage and old, rotting food and all this kind of stuff, and then they hose the place down with this air spray stuff. And then they'd ask people, can you say, they'd take the blindfold and be like, oh, I didn't know I was in such a garbage dump like this because I just smelled like, flowers and trees and all this kind of stuff. And the whole point of that, again, is saying that's your choice. You either have this product where your house smells like a garden, or you can smell all the garbage. That's which do you want? So we keep being manipulated. We keep being misdirected and routed here and there because you have to choose one or the other. And even back to the political thing. There's the Trump people say, well, but Biden did the same thing, and the Biden people say doesn't matter what Biden did. He's not president. But Biden wants to be president. And so we're told that it's okay to go after Trump for this. But if you also say we need to investigate more over here with Biden, then that's wrong. There's something wrong with you. That's not the point. Well, but shouldn't the two things be equal? If we're concerned about the current president of the United States doing a certain thing that we're willing to impeach him for, shouldn't we be concerned that a former vice president who wants to be president bragged about doing pretty much the same thing? I mean, shouldn't we treat that with the same level of concern? But we don't. Why not? Because the players involved don't want you thinking that way. They want you making a choice. No. See, if you get distracted thinking about what Biden may or may not have done, you lose focus on the fact that this is about either we want to impeach Trump or you support it. We come full circle, right back to that again. You can tell I get bothered because I post on social media and I try to comment about it, and I try to be more of a centrist. I try to be more of a rational. I step back and like I just expressed here a little bit ago. I say it's already kind of a foregone conclusion what's going to happen. The odds of Trump not being impeached are pretty slim. The only reason he would not be impeached is if you have enough of the Democrats in the House who are from swing districts or even districts that traditionally voted Republican but maybe went blue back in 2018, that if you have some of those Democrats who are doing their own home polling that are getting some pushback on impeachment, they might be like, okay, well, I better back off on this. If enough of those individuals chicken out, then the impeachment vote might fail. I don't see that happening, though. I imagine it will pass on a straight party line vote. There might be a few Democratic defectors in the House, but probably not very many. And then it gets to the Senate, and I really don't see any of the Republicans voting to punish. And even if one or two of the Republicans did, again, it takes 2/3, not a simple majority, but 2/3 majority to imply punishment. And the odds of that many Republicans voting to do that I just don't see that happening. So it's already a foregone conclusion that at most Trump gets impeached, but he's not going to face any punishment. It's going to be like Bill Clinton back in '98. So this notion that you're either for impeachment and removal from office or you're a proponent of Trump is a false choice, because it's not even that's not even a real choice. You can be in favor of impeachment, but if you're also in favor of removal from office, guess what? It's probably not going to happen. And you can be in favor of Trump and opposed to impeachment, but guess what? He's probably still going to get impeached. So that choice in and of itself, it's not even valid, because reality dictates this is what's going to happen. But But most people get caught up in that. We get blindsided. We get wrapped up in this boom, 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 this conflict, this battering, this I'm right, you're wrong, shut up, you're bad, you're evil, I've got the right information. You just don't understand. Why, if you knew what I knew, and both sides can say the exact same things to each other, and neither of them actually hear what the other one is saying because they don't really listen. They don't care. They're so ingrained, so entrenched in this is what I've been told to believe. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at the comments made. There are, unfortunately, a lot of individuals in Congress today who were also in Congress 20 years ago when Bill Clinton was subject to impeachment. Look at the statements from those individuals back in 98 and compare them to their statements today in 2019. And what you will find is, for the most part, every single one of them has flipped positions. Meaning, back in 98, it was a Democratic president who was facing impeachment at the hands of a Republican-controlled Congress. And so you had Democrats and a Democrat-controlled Senate. So literally, it was the reverse scenario of what we have now. And so you had Republicans going after Bill Clinton on the flimsiest. I don't approve of what Bill Clinton did. The whole affair with Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office, do not approve of that in the least. However, I also don't think he should have been impeached over things related to that. Now, he wasn't impeached because he had an affair in the Oval Office. That's a lie. Anybody telling you that is again trying to feed you a false choice. He was impeached because he lied under oath to cover up the affair, and he misused the power of his office to also propagate that lie, that cover up. But again, yes, he did that, and it was a real crime, and he even lost his law license for a while because it was a real crime. But was it sufficient for impeachment? Was it a high crime and misdemeanor? I don't think so. I think you just had Republicans who just wanted to take Bill Clinton down just to take him down. Much like we have Democrats today feeling the same way about Donald Trump. And then you go back and you look and you see back then, Republicans were the ones proclaiming, no, man, rule of law. And Democrats saying, okay, now hold on, time out. We can't be pushing, you can't be doing this based on party line. You can't be making this you can't be using impeachment as a political tactic. And now those players are still there and they are flipping their quotes. They're making the opposite comments. Why? Because it's not really about principle. It's not really about even reality. It's about the false dichotomy, the false choice. If you're with us, then you are blindly with us. If you're with us, then you're blindly with us. And if you're with either of us, you are automatically opposed to the other. I don't play that game. I used to, years ago. But I stopped playing that game and I'm much happier about it. Except for the fact that I keep encountering the people who are still drinking that Kool-Aid. And it's really frustrating to talk to those people because, of course, once they find out you're not agreeing with them, whichever point they're making, then you get accused of being in the other camp because there's only two choices. You must be one or the other. No. You can be an individual. You can have your own opinion, make up your own mind, and it can be anywhere on the spectrum of thought. It's not defined by the extremes. It's defined by the reality, which is most of the time somewhere towards the middle. So there's going to be a lot more coverage about impeachment, a lot more conversation, a lot of pundits, a lot of experts, a lot of action, a lot of online social media debating and stuff. You're going to see it. You're going to get sucked into it. You're going to be trying to ignore all of it. But just as you're wading through it, keep this in mind. You don't have to buy into one extreme stance or the other. You can use your own brain and ignore the false choices. Make your own individual choice. And with that, just long-winded that. I'll let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.